Hey, what's going on, everyone? On this week's episode, we dive into how do we deal when we get into new chapters of our life, just dealing with the new challenges. How do we deal with the excitement, but also the openness to just a new place in our life? Very excited about this episode. We really get to dive in and just hear what we're both, or all three of us, are celebrating, and just grateful for these conversations and for you all to be a part of it. Let us know what you think.
Wait, no, don't do that to me.
Season 3, Episode 2 of The Refinery is in session.
Whoop, whoop. Wow. But Colt, two things. One, I can't see you, and your volume is super low for some reason.
Oh, because I don't have a fucking microphone player. Thank you, Brandon.
While he's doing that, I can adjust myself.
Actually, I'll be right back in 30 seconds. I'm going to grab...
Yes, this is fantastic.
Yeah,
Take
no,
all
I'm
the time
definitely
you both
putting
need.
all of this into the edit, just so we're all aware. So how's everybody doing? Good week?
Fucking fantastic, man.
Nice.
I feel settled now. I feel like we can actually we can start now.
I feel good. We can start.
I feel good.
We're ready.
We can
We're ready.
start. I'm not the Beyonce of the group by any means at all. It's not me. It's not what I'm going for. I'm not going for the Beyonce thing.
All right, well then I will take the reins on the first part. I wanted to say that today is a fucking awesome day for a lot of reasons. You know, I woke up, huge plus, really enjoyed that part. And that's usually the major thing that I'm really looking forward to. As long as that happens, everything else is kind of copacetic. Like I can deal with the rest.
Yeah.
However, today is a very special day. Now, a lot of people, you know, are like, yeah, it's May the 4th, bro. When we're recording this, it's Tuesday. Surprise. It's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Yes, go forth on your journey. Choose the light. But it's actually April 4th, which is Angelina and I's 11-year anniversary from the first day that we started dating. We started dating on May 4th, and I thought it was April 4th for a long time. And so we were arguing back and forth about it. And she finally was like, well, I'm definitely right, but we'll just call it April 4th. That's fine. So on April 4th, I usually am like, we've been together for so long. She's like, no. But today is actually the day, and it has been 11 years with my best friend in the world. And it's just a fucking awesome day. So I'm happy to be here with you guys and
Happy
to be able
anniversary, man.
to share that and talk about that. Yeah, and keep the love going even 3 days later.
Dude, that's amazing. That's fantastic. Like 11 years. 11 years.
11 years. And it feels like we've been together for so much longer than that. Like it seems so trite to say it's only been 11 years. Like I'm almost embarrassed sometimes. People are like, how long have you been together? I'm like, it's 11 years. It's just started. Like we're just getting going. Like it feels like that, but it also feels like we've been together for centuries. Like it feels like we've just been together for so long. So yeah, today's a good day. I'm glad y'all having good days too.
Love that.
Yeah.
Gorski, where we at, baby?
Doing great. It's a challenging week in the sense of one of the things I want to talk about is how do we celebrate when we hit new tiers of accomplishment, but at the same time, when we get to that new tier, there's new challenges that present itself at that new place. Because that's why this week I'm like super excited. I told you guys about the new chef I'm working with, new project. Exciting, but at the same time, the first day, the person that I was just like, okay, cool, we're teaming up, tells me she's resigning. I was like, great. The second day, I'm like, I'm finding out with the chef that I'm working with what is really the challenge we have in presenting ourselves. And it's like, we are revamping this whole company. And I'm like, okay, this is much bigger than I thought, but it's that accomplishment of like, part of me is like, oh man, this is a much bigger thing. But at the same time, I look back at what I've accomplished to this point, and I was like, wow, someone's trusting me with revamping their whole company and just saying, you do what you want, you have free reign. And like the second day of like the big thing they wanted to get was in high-end weddings. And my second day working with them, I booked a $250,000 wedding, all right off the back. And so I'm like, all right, solid start, nice place where I'm starting. So I'm feeling really great about it. I'm feeling excited, but I'm feeling the challenges that are presented. Like right before I got here, a client hit up And I was like, can you do a dinner Friday? Can you send me a proposal right now? And it was 5:52. And I was like, yes. Start typing it really quick, send it off, made it to the call. But I know I would love to chat with you guys. Is like, all of us I know are just hitting new strides of our personal lives, and just the balance of the celebration with the, okay, here we go. Here's a new set of things that we're looking at. So I'm feeling great right now.
I think that's perfect timing. Like what Colt said last week about like, we did our kind of spin-off episode as the starter for season 3. So I'm so happy that we waited, because what you're going through was perfect, I think, for episode 2. Briefly, I was doing better, but now I'm doing better than better. We have a mutual friend, Bruna, and she does card readings and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know. I don't really know anything about it. You know, anyone who's like into crystals and moons and charts and all that shit, I'm like, yeah, have fun. Pokemon, go Pikachu. I don't know. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? I don't know. And so I hop on one of her Instagram lives. She's doing a reading for the day or the month or whatever. And she's like, okay, at the end of the call, I'm doing like 3 people get a free question from me on this website she does. And I was like, yeah, pick me. She's like, well, the spirit picks. I don't pick, the spirit picks. And I was like, well, spirit pick me. Sure as shit, spirit picks me. So then I get my free reading, and my question was about acting. And that's why I'm saying it's so interesting that you're bringing this up, because I just got my reading back. And I can segue right into your question, because she does the video chat back to me. She says, I get 2 cards of like what I need to focus on. One was like getting back in my body and feeling grounded. And she's like, I think you should start dancing more, which I have. And then she says, you need to focus on focus. Like, you need to focus on being focused. Don't just focus, but focus on being intentional with your focus. And then the card that I got for my challenge was facing my shadow. I don't know what the fuck she was talking about. I didn't know what the shadow was. Had no clue. It was a card of like a big werewolf. And I was like, oh yeah, I know exactly what that is. That's ego and some stuff I got from my past. Couldn't find out, it was something that I had been hiding and not dealing with for a long time from my childhood. And she says, this block is what's going to get in the way of your acting career. If you don't address this thing that you think is ugly or unwanted or unlovable, then you're gonna miss an opportunity to really flourish in film. And so I found out that my shadow yesterday was my mom. 9/11 hits. 9/11 hits. Okay, world's in shambles. Right? We know we're going to war. Shit's popping off. Right? We're not military. But Halliburton and a bunch of other contracting companies say, well, we're going to go overseas and we're going to, do supply, So the cost to be over there raised because you're putting yourself in a war zone. So instead of making $4,500 a month, she was offered $8,000 a month, ballpark. At the time in 2004, it's a lot of money. Still a lot of money to make $8,000 a month. But so she takes a job at Halliburton. In 2004, I'm a freshman in high school, and not consecutively, but 98% of her time from 2004 to 2012, she was overseas in Afghanistan, Dubai, and Iraq, working for these companies. So all 4 years of my high school, my brother raised me. He was my legal guardian. He was 18. So Killeen, Texas, I can walk to school, it's a 15-minute walk. My whole entire high school life was something special. Bruna says to me, because I called her, I was crying, I called her last night. And I said, someone said, that's fucked up. Not judging my mom, but just like the situation itself is fucked up. And I have a hard time saying it's fucked up, because it's like, my mom did the best she could. It doesn't mean the situation was so fucked up for a 14-year-old kid. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, So never really facing and dealing with how that turned out and what that turned me into and what parts of me became very, very angry. Like very, it's a point to where I'm just like having explosive moments. I'm fighting all kinds of stupid shit that's just not necessary. And we got to the root of it. And it's the hurt, it's the pain, it's the abandonment, right? My fighting had nothing to do with me wanting to knock somebody out. It was me hurting on the inside and trying to find a way to have an outlet. So last night was the first time that I actually like looked at it and was like, that situation should not have happened, but it did. And I have to own how that made me feel and what I feel about it, because I've buried it away because I want to protect my mom. You know, I don't make a big fuck, she's a shitty parent. I kind of long-winded this, but so my challenge with acting is facing the parts of my life that I'm afraid to address, even though they may be the very thing I need to channel for a character, a role, a story, a script, a project. I got the headshots. I got the demo reel. I'm sending emails out for new representation. I've done some commercials, whatever. Like you said, new stuff, fantastic, things to celebrate. Challenge now is, do you just want to be okay with like this particular career, or do you want to strive for excellence? Do you want to provide performances and contribute your gift to a story in a way that is so compelling that it makes people feel something and think something? And in order to do that, the actors we love, Daniel Day-Lewis, Brad Pitt, Robert Redford, Denzel, they pull from real places, real stories, and real things in order to bring that character to life in a way that you can resonate, relate to it, and you can feel it. That's my challenge, is owning those shadow parts of me and allowing them to come through in my acting and my storytelling.
I like that. You touched on some obviously really important stuff. So one of the interesting things about what you're specifically talking about is when Ange and I first got together and first made our first breakthrough, what our first video on Part of Love was about that, the Frozen fight, right? That thing I finally shared with her, and I finally felt like, oh my God, I'm okay. I found somebody to share my genuine truth with. Because I was very myself very often, very often. But there were parts of myself that I would absolutely hide and keep to myself because that was for me. That was for nobody else. And even people that I trusted and loved very much, mentors of mine, would say things like, well, like you said, you were protecting your mom. I was told not to tell my mom what happened because what good would it do? Was what I was told. Well, you're just going to cause her pain. Do you want to cause more pain? And they didn't mean it in the absolute just shit bag way that it sounds and that it kind of is. It's a very selfish, I think, selfish way of looking at it. Well, I'll just take this on forever. And more importantly, that's where that conversation usually stops. Well, I can handle this pain, so I'll just take it in. Fuck you. It's, get over yourself. It has nothing to do with that. What it has to do with is that the hard thing, the thing that actually makes you strong, is being able to say, hey, this is the reality of this, and I don't hold this against you, or and I've gone through this, and
Right.
hey, here's this chain. I'm gonna go on and break this for us because this is some bullshit that we're all dragging along, or I'm just dragging along if I'm the only one that knows it. So I finally felt like I was being seen and could be myself, and then I immediately kept that only to myself and only to Ange. And I was like, this is for you. And she said, the first time she asked me about acting in film and television, because I was so obsessed with it, she was like, well, if you could just show people this, if you could just show people that, if I could have recorded that. And I was like, no, this isn't for the world. This is for you. This is for you, because you're the one that knows me. You're the one that deserves, like, you're the only one that's worked for it. You're the only one that loves me enough. And she said, but you're missing the point. So the whole point is that this thing, if you can show this, then it'll be smooth. And I'll find it on one of these breaks in here. But at some point I wrote something and it said, originally I used my art to hide myself. Then I used my art to find myself. Now I use my art to help others find themselves. And that that thing, if you've ever done, and I think you and I, Brandon, have talked about this, but doing filmographies, if you do a whole filmography of somebody, Jon, there's something really, really spectacular that happens. And I've done it with, ironically, 3 of the 4 people that you mentioned. I've watched so much of Brad Pitt's stuff just in general that I was like, I don't need to watch it again. Okay, why not?
Why not?
Daniel Day-Lewis was the first one. Denzel was one of mine. Anthony Hopkins, Marlon Brando. And if you watch them, what you end up doing is you understand that from his one scene in Gandhi with Ben Kingsley, all the way to Lincoln, all the way to Phantom Thread, Daniel Day-Lewis has certain characteristics that no matter who he's playing, they're just him.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about Denzel in Training Day like it was such a departure for him. No, it was, but it wasn't. The character was, but he himself is still there in that. You see the same reactions in his eyes and his voice. There are still so many things that are Denzel, because Denzel is Denzel.
Yeah.
Even Daniel Day-Lewis, across all of those different accents, all of those different cinematographers, all those different directors, you still can see them. And if you watch every bit of their work, or as much as you can, Marlon Brando included, you can see the little things that are just genuine honesty.
Yeah.
And it suddenly made it humanized it. So just speaking to what that is, I think that the irony of every time you level up, as it were, Jon, every time you level up, there's an element of what I was just writing in here. I said, how do you not, for lack of a better term, how do you not overdo the new level? How do you not get to the new level and go, well, now I've got to do something totally different. I've got to really level up. You're like, no, I have to do the same thing I've been doing that got me here, but I have to do it better.
Yeah.
I have to be more honest. I have to be more, if being focused got me here, I've got to focus on the focus. I've got to drill down. And every time you hit that new level, you're going to grow and expand all of your abilities. And if you don't, you will not go to the next level, and you may be knocked down a few pegs. So that's kind of my initial response to all of that. I dig it.
Well, I think also I like that you mentioned I think part of it is being present. Once you get to this new level, is being present. Okay, here's the new scenario that I am in. And I think I brought this up on a call in the past, maybe in season 2, where I was getting to a place where it's like, oh man, I'm feeling like I'm getting this new level, but there's now this new space that I'm in, this new level. Before I kind of outgrew where I was before, and now I have this new space. But I'm seeing other people who are at this level, and they've kind of figured out this space, and I suddenly started feeling like a place of lack. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to fill up this space? And started comparing myself with other people, being like, oh, I don't have, like, they have this in order, I don't have this stuff in order. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this free time? What am I supposed to do? And it's just like kind of how you were saying, like you're starting to get ahead of yourself and trying to already, no, just be present. This is where you're at right now, and take it in, and just like, okay, cool. This is my new challenges that I'm looking at. I don't have to solve everything today, but being present to the growth, being present. And I think one of the other things is like, as the world is like now opening up, and Brandon, you mentioned this last week, seeing people out and about, and now, like, even just in the events world, I'm talking to a bunch of different friends in the events world, like everyone is busy. Everyone is starting to get events on the weekly now. And it's like on all levels, from photographers, florists, like everyone is just seeing it come in. And so now it's almost like we're coming back, but now we're full out running. And then, but a few of us we've talked about, I was like, but wait, I was running before, and I realized I didn't like running how I was running before. And now I'm right back into it, and I'm finding myself right back in the groove. I'm like, hold on. No. And I even was journaling this morning, because yesterday when the girl that I was working with told me, hey, I'm resigning, like, she's been in the company 3 years. She knows everything. So her leaving was just like, hey, and the chef has been with the company for a long time, but he's brand new to the catering. And so for both of us, we're creating this, but like, I was like, oh man, like, how am I gonna handle this? Like, how am I gonna handle all this stuff? And like, there's so much to do, and like, there's a lot bigger project. And I was just like, this morning I was journaling, like, hold on. I was like, you technically don't have to do any of this. Like, you can leave tomorrow if you wanted to. You actually made it part of your deal that it's not full time. So you're only going for 2 days a month,
bro. I don't know.
It's not even
negotiate that shit. But damn.
No, but it's one of those things. Like, we have choice. We have choice how we show up now. We have choice how we show up to the challenge. We have choice how we decide to move forward. And I think it's being present to when we level up, when we get to these new environments, like when you hit 11 years in your relationship, it's just like, okay, let me be present to now, whatever shows up. And
Come on, John.
be able to answer this.
All right now.
That's what excites me about these calls that we do. We're always reminding ourselves of what we kind of already know. We just sometimes forget.
Well, listen.
I know. I'm like, just so you know, the only way you get to 11 years is by taking stock of it every day until you get there. You don't get past a decade and then go, you know what? Now I'm gonna fucking start working. Like, nah, that's just not how it works.
I do want that, like a perfect example, and I love that finding out that you're hitting 11 years, and with the video that we posted on the social media that you talked about last week, was like, you can't go into thinking, okay, I'm gonna be with this person for next decade and obviously more, and it's gonna be easy. And it's just like, no, this is gonna be work. Like everything we're doing, Brandon, you're going into acting, which is a very millions of people want to get in that world, and it's difficult. And I know you know that. And the fact that you're saying, okay, cool, okay, now I get to look at my shadow and see my past, and this is something that I need to face for me to grow. Like we're making those decisions, knowing, okay, this isn't going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. And if it's worth it to me, I'm going to do what I need to do.
I like this, John. I don't know. I like this, John. You fired up, boy. I said, wait a minute. What? Baby, look, hey now. Hey. You know, man, so you mentioned that, and my metaphor, my connection would be the gym. Right? When you go to
Well, you can't see me, so
there he is.
I've been nose tapping this whole fucking time. I was like, fuck this.
There it is.
Come on, son.
Hey, that's nice. On the microphone, that's real nice. Do it again.
That's my John impression.
Do it again. That is a good Gorski. Do it again. Put them together. The Brandon with the Gorski. Go ahead.
You just gotta get real close up on the mic.
Woo!
Just talk real nice. Except Gorski doesn't have a mic. He's got a fucking AirPod in his ear. And as soon as I back away from the mic, I sound like this. Come on. Thank God for fucking sing. Otherwise, I'd be useless. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I don't know what the fuck I was saying. What was I even saying? I don't even remember what I was saying. Cheers. I don't even want to cheers again. We've been cheers, and that's the episode thing. Oh, I'm wrong way. Here we go. There's the camera. The gym, right?
Yeah.
So
there we go.
let's say you get in the gym, and all you're starting off with, they say, okay, I need you to do high reps, low weight, whatever the case may be. You put on your 225s, you bang out 12, 4 sets of 12, bow. You do this for about 6 weeks. So I feel a little good. Okay, throw a 10 on there. I'm throwing this 10 up, 25 pretty nice. Okay, bet that. Bump that. Go ahead and put a 45 plate on there. The second they put that 45 plate on there, you realize the difference 10 pounds can make once you condition yourself to get to the threshold. Now you've got to push yourself and challenge yourself, because 10 and 12 are easy, but getting to 8, you start to feel a little tight. That's that challenge of growth, right? The beauty and the challenge of growth is it's always going to challenge you to push yourself past the point of comfort, past the point of where you could do it with ease, past the point of where everything just came so easily to you. That's the beauty of growth. And we're constantly, this is another reference to it, stretching ourselves, right? They said rest and stretching are the 2 best things you can do when you're in the gym. It's not go throw up weights, eat protein, eat a bunch of food, and that's it. You have to stretch your muscles, stretch your body, keep your limbs warm, keep your joints lubricated, whatever the case may be. And rest in the recovery for your muscles are what's going to give you the best results and the healthiest results for what you're doing. People go in the gym and they want to bang, 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 bang. But that is going to show up 4 years down the road when that shoulder starts having pain in it, or your lower back is all tight. It's going to show up in a way because you weren't taking the best care of yourself you could when you were at a level that was going to impact you 10 years later. But I'm going somewhere with this. What you do now is going to impact you 10 years from now. How Gorski handles this situation, how Brandon handles this situation, right? How Colt handles whoever's listening and watching in the audience, whatever decision and however you handle the challenge you're in right now is preparing you for how you handle something 10 years from now. So it may not be the quick, convenient, microwavable way. It may be grueling. It may be tough. It may take you to be in the gym for 2 hours because you took 15, 30 minutes to warm up and take care of your body. But I promise you, when you're able to run 5 miles and you don't have to ice your knees, when you can go swim 16 laps when you're 65 and your body is taking care of you because you took care of it, it's a beautiful thing. You take care of your business, you take care of your mind now, you take care of how you handle relationships now, and in the future, it's going to take care of you. You will take care of you in the future if you take care of you now.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up.
That Gorski kicked in.
Yeah.
So I have to caveat this one.
Caveat this one, or are you poking holes?
No, it's not poking holes because I agree with that in the long term. No. I seriously, I wish you could see me because I'm staring up because I'm trying to really clearly kind of level my thoughts out. But the truth is, what you just said is extremely true. Your body has this thing called, you know about this, they have satellite cells. Mm-hmm. The quick and dirty of how satellite cells work is if you are an Olympian at 20 years old, or even just in great shape, but I'm using an Olympian to give the most extreme example. You're an Olympian at 20 years old, and then you're just like, I don't really want to do this anymore. Fuck the Olympics. And, you're out of it for a little bit. But then at 26 or 30, you decide to get back in shape. You're going to get in shape drastically quicker and have drastically better performance than someone who never did that. And then at 30 was like, I want to do this. Doesn't matter how talented they are. Your body literally just holds on to a cellular structure that allows you to get in shape quicker. So yes, in every way, what you're saying 100% applies. I'm not poking holes in that. What I'm saying is, as an addendum, not a caveat, an addendum, I would say, is that Colt at 24, 25 made some really bad decisions. And I don't like the phrase people don't change, because people don't change unless they want to. And the only people that ever say people don't change are the people who haven't been changed for. If no one's changed for you, you're right. Then those people didn't change. But if you think I'm the same stupid little motherfucker that was running around New York City at 24 years old, 25 years old, no, it's just not. And if you are PS, the same stupid motherfucker you were 10 years ago, fuck you. Just hands down, what are you doing? 10 years? No, that's ridiculous. So what I will say is yes, that's why I'm saying I agree with everything you're saying, but I want to give people an out. I want to give them not an out. I want to give them hope, because had I heard what you just said at 24 or 25, when I realized I was making these mistakes, I made on shit, I've ruined everything. And how many of us think that the mistakes of our past, or the mistakes that that we've made even presently, decide our future forever, that we can never come back from it. And I just want to give people some addendum and caveat that says, hey, when you recognize it, fix it. You know, what is it? Maya Angelou, know better, do better.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you do, make those decisions for the future. As soon as you can, David Goggins, that shit, like figure it out.
Yeah.
But if you are listening to this and you're like, well, I don't make great decisions, so I guess I will continue making bad decisions. Don't do that. Help yourself out. Start now. Start as soon as you possibly can, which PS was yesterday, but at least get on board now.
Mm-hmm. Well, this reminds me. Have I ever told you guys my buddy Nick shared the story of the 3 Nicks? Have I ever told you guys the story?
No,
it's a good lead in. I'm intrigued.
It's a very Gorski story.
Yeah. Has my buddy Nick ever told you the story about the 3 Nicks? Well, anyway, so what? I don't get fantastic.
I don't know if I shared this on one of our calls, but it was actually on a gentleman's call. I brought a couple of guys together, and he brought up he has the 3 Nicks: past Nick, present Nick, future Nick. He said, and like I'll share the story as speaking for myself. And he said, how often do we find ourselves in a good situation where we're like, oh man, like I'm glad I like set myself up to win in this moment. How often do we look back at like past John and say, yo, past John, thank you for making decisions you made, so I'm really set up right now. And it kind of Colt, like what you were just saying is when you're making bad decisions now, how often are we thinking about the bad decision we're making now is going to affect future Colt or future Brandon or future John? And so I shared this with a few different friends, and it was funny because I had lunch with a buddy of mine the other day, and he brought up, he's like, yo, dude, I'm really glad you shared that future or the 3 parts of a person. And he was telling me, and my buddy's name is Rudy, he was just like, he was getting on a plane, put his luggage up top, and he sat down, and he was in the window, and he sat there, and he's like, oh man, I don't know if I grabbed my headphones. He's like, past Rudy, did you take care of present Rudy or future Rudy? And he goes in his pocket and he pulls out his headphones. He's like, thank you, past Rudy. You took care of present Rudy. Thank you. And he shared that with me. And he's like, just taking in that theory in your mind, taking in that theory of thinking about your future self, or taking a moment to thank your past self.
Yeah,
where
man.
You currently are, and really asking, because like when we were talking about it, I was talking about like sometimes, and this happened the other day, last week. I went out with a buddy of mine. We grabbed a drink. We met up with another buddy of mine. He had a drink. We stopped where his girlfriend worked. She was just brought another beer, and then we're sitting there, and I'm like, hold on a second. I have like a 7:30 a.m. yoga class that I'm going to tomorrow. Like, I do not need to be drinking this because I'm definitely going to yoga class no matter how I feel. Like, that's my rule. If I want to have a drink, fine, have a drink. But whatever you have planned the next morning, you do not get to cancel. And so I stopped myself. I'm like, yo, future John is not going to be happy in that yoga class if I have a couple more beers. And I was like, put the beer down. I was like, good, I'm done. And I was so grateful in that moment because I realized as present John wanted to have fun and keep having a couple drinks and hang out. But I realized that future John wouldn't be there. And so it's just like taking that moment to really ask ourselves, am I taking care of my future self? Am I taking care? And at the same time, thanking our past self, because then it gives the ability that when we're making present decisions, that future version of us is going to thank us for what we're deciding right now.
Come on.
Did you have your Wheaties? Did you have your Wheaties this morning? Did you have your Wheaties? Did you have your Wheaties? God dang. That boy is on.
He's got something.
He got something.
He had that mezcal, so he feels good. He got that mezcal, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna say something. I got something to say. Okay, so addendum to that. No, it's necessary. This is a necessary one. When you are in a relationship, there was a sermon that I heard that I think about all the time. And
right now, careful before you start something.
Careful. It's careful. It's talking about what integrity really is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in your relationship, what you're doing is not. So this is the big problem that I have with a lot of the guys on YouTube. They're like, so let me explain to you what you're doing wrong, women. Fuck you. That's not what it is, right? That's not what it is.
Fuck you of the night number 2. All right. Everybody, anybody can get it. No one is safe. Fuck you of the night number 2.
It is on, and I my censor because you didn't say beep at the beginning of this. So yes, I almost put that into another part of Love video yesterday and was like, nobody's gonna get it but you and Brandon and John. Don't do this to everybody. Like I was cursing and I just put in I literally made an audio recording of your beep from the last Refinery episode and I put it into a new part of Love and then I pulled it out because I was like, you know what? This is just for you. Don't do this. No one. So the problem is when I see people that are doing that, what a lot of times their advice leads to happens to be, I put it in air quotes, Brandon. What their advice tends to be is exactly what you're saying is when you get in a relationship, let's say, and in this sermon, he's talking about my wife has we have a water cooler and, we have the 5-gallon jug of water and you go to put it on there. She likes me to clean on the inside of the rim of the actual mechanism. And also she likes me to clean off the bottle. Now I know that that's ridiculous. We don't need to do that. But I know that she likes me to do that. So when I come in after playing basketball or a run, I am home alone. I need water. We are out of water. I always clean it off. No one sees me. Nobody knows that. But I know it makes her comfortable because she asked me to do it. So what the point of this is it's not, I'm not doing like, guys, you got to do this. You got to clean that bottle because you don't want to get in a fight with your girl. No, fuck you. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with you're caring about your future. Yeah, there's 3 of them so far. You care about not just future you, but in a true love relationship, you care about future her or him or whoever your partner is. You care about future them. And there's something special there when you start living your life in a way where you go, okay, so this is going to be slightly inconvenient for me. Who gives a shit? Whatever. But I'm going to do this thing because I know that even if they don't know that I'm doing this, they can trust that I am doing this because I love them, because they ask me to. That I'm not just pulling one over on you. It's not about gotcha moments. It's not about just, well, I scored this point or I did this. Like, there's something really special in loving and living for the future you, but also for the future them. There's something really cool in that.
Yeah.
So I really dig the story of the 3 Nicks.
Yeah. Well, and also when you have a partner, it's the future we, because you're taking care of both of you.
What is happening tonight? God dang. What is
shipping you?
It's you guys. It's you guys.
What do you want?
No, you guys. Actually, if you want this stuff, I don't know if you guys heard of this stuff.
Bozal.
I lift it up a little bit.
Bozal mezcal?
Yeah, this stuff is incredible. No, but it's you guys. It's you guys. I was so excited. I'm glad that we did today. It's been a good day, but no, you guys bring out the best of me.
Well, it's very kind.
You over here panty dropping now? What am I supposed to do? Panty dropping? Listen, this is when, because you can't say, you could probably say Brandon, or you could say Colt. You could just say our name and someone would know. You have to say Jon Gorski. It is a whole entity, a whole. It's not just John. It's like, no, John.
Feels wrong. Feels incomplete. I feel like I'm shortchanging. I feel like I'm calling someone a nickname they do not want to be called. I could say Gorski, and that's fine. That's fine,
because it holds it.
I didn't
Gorski
even
alone can hold it.
John. I thought your name was one thing. I thought it was Jon Gorski. I thought it was like Cinder. Share. I don't.
Put it in one long word.
Jon Gorski.
Jon Gorski. It's funny. I've actually had multiple jobs where they'll go and like, Mike, Brandon, Jon Gorski, Chris, and Arthur, go this way. And I'm like, why is my name the full name?
Not even John G. Just straight up the whole thing.
Yeah.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Gorski. Everybody.
I can't stop laughing.
Oh man.
Hold on. Did you just pull up a fucking Modelo in the middle of this as well? Or is that like a White Claw?
No.
Please don't be a White Claw.
It's
Oh,
Modelo.
Modelo.
Nah, we ain't
I'm gonna
drinking
go get,
White
I'm
Claws
gonna go get
over here.
tacos after this. So I was like, if I drink mezcal, I'm like,
John,
I need to make space.
so that's why you had to move it to tonight. You were like, I got to do tacos after. I got to get this out of the way because I might be busy doing tacos for the next couple of 48 hours. Like
I'm doing tacos tomorrow too, but I just gotta space it out, you know.
tacos for Gorski are
I
like
can't
You
take
wanna-
it.
a
I
buddy, I
can't
was giving a
take
funny
it.
joke. A buddy of mine was like, "Yo, we're gonna start working out. We're gonna start eating healthy. Like, you have to make some hard decisions." And so I called him later, and I'm like, "All right, dude, I've been really thinking about my eating habits, and I'm willing to go down to only having 3 sittings of tacos a week." And he goes, "How many sittings are you having a week that you're going down to 3?"
you're scaling to 3. That's dude. I
For
feel you.
workout purposes. So that's like me really stretching.
Oh my God.
By the way, this has been hands down one of the best Refinery episodes to
Yeah.
date. Today. Like I'm like, he's so comfortable. He's so comfortable. I love it. I'm just sitting, I'm just like, go ahead, shine. Shine, baby, shine. I'm sitting in the back seat. Mezcal Gorski. Yeah, that's a nice name. Mezcal Gorski. I like that. That's
That's
nice.
what I'll
You
call
need
it.
a baby name. There
Yeah,
you go.
well,
Mezcal Gorski.
well.
I'll let you know when I mention that how she takes it.
First
Listen, hold on. I got the first idea for the first baby's name.
baby's name.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. So hear me out. I was having a men's call. Wait.
Wait.
We were drunk. Wait.
Hold on.
Season 3. We hadn't really talked a whole bunch. It was great.
Yeah, past me is now future me is looking at past me like maybe that was the best decision to think Mezcal was a good name. But baby, what do you think?
Gorski is not taking care of future Gorski.
Oh man. So okay, let's do this. We're rounding out here.
Oh shit.
How could, and this is for everyone, what's something today that Jon Gorski and Colt of today, present, what's something you need to address that past Colt, past Jon Gorski, past Brendan has done that is showing up or hasn't shown up, may show up now / future? That's one. How can you address it? How can you face it? And are you willing to face it? And then the other thing is, what can you do today or start to put into practice today, or what are you doing today that future you will thank you for? Wow.
I mean, I could.
And this is gonna take us home. This legit is gonna take us home.
I opened it up, so I'll Missy Bear, you okay? I opened it up and I will close early. What I will say is that today I had all of those things that you just mentioned happen.
Wow.
So I actually said to Ange earlier, I was like, I must just be at that time of the month because I am a cranky motherfucker today. I do not feel great in regards to other human beings. And it was because my trigger for a long time, I dealt with, so growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. My mom worked, very hard, but there were some situations we didn't have a lot of money. Once I graduated college, I was very fortunate to be inundated with a lot of money and consistently. I dealt with my undealt with problems by spending that money, all of it. Like I would get paid as per diem roughly $1,000 a week just in untaxable money as a 20-year-old. And that was just not separate from my paycheck. That was just for like food and drink on tour. And I would go buy shoes every week, like lots of shoes. Like there's a shoe store in Chicago that I would go spend $1,000 at every week. I wouldn't even try on most of the shoes. I would just buy. I just felt I've got money. I need to buy stuff. And we've talked about this a little bit before. Spending was an issue, and it ended up being an issue in our relationship. And I have gotten it under control completely. And then today something happened where went to rent a truck and credit card, business card got declined. I was like, nowhere near this limit. What's going on? Called them. And after some time, they were like, yeah, you made a very large payment recently. And I said, yeah, well, I've been very fortunate. I've been doing some really large business. And so, yeah, I paid that off. And they said, well, you don't have access to that anymore. And I got triggered all of a sudden because I was like, whoa, hold on. So because I'm actually dealing with this, I'm taking care of my stuff. I'm actually making money, spending money, and paying it back. And now I can't. And I got really upset because all of a sudden I was like, wait, my trigger in my brain went, I'm wasting money. I've spent money and
Wow.
all this again. And
Wow.
now we're back to credit cards not working and fuck, what are we? And I suddenly panicked, even though
Wow.
I don't need to worry about any of it. I'm very fortunate. It's not a pretentious thing that I'm saying by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just very fortunate that that's not a worry. But in that moment, the simple fact that somebody said, hey, I took 5 figures worth of money and also you can't, like, it felt like they stole from me and like I was doing something wrong and like I put us back in a bad place. And so immediately I went and everything switched and I was like, okay, I need you to fix this because, and I was like, I know it's not your fault. I know it's not your fault. And I want to be very clear. I'm not upset at you. It's just the proposition that's at hand. And I was trying to explain it, but I was so upset, like in my heart, because I was so sad, like I used to be. And it hurt. And the nice thing is that past Colt did the work to set present Colt up to get over it in less than 10 minutes, as opposed to 5 to 10 more years. So what I could do for future Colt was that I sat there and I looked at my beautiful wife on our 11-year anniversary and I said, well, fuck me. I guess I don't really have anything to be too upset about because as much as this feels like it sucks, it's genuinely champagne problems at the moment. And I wouldn't rather have been anywhere for the last 11 years than right here. And I wouldn't hope to be anywhere else for the next 11. So, okay. I took a breath and I looked at her and I was okay. So that's one of those things. Money has been something that and my relationship with it, it's been something since I was, a little kid at the grocery store, you know, that's been a big thing. I mean, why we went hunting. It's the only reason I've ever hunted. Like, you know, it became a big thing. So to have that feel like it was to have my autonomy feel like it was taken from me today in that way, that struck up, hey, Thunder, thanks God. That struck up some stuff in my brain. And it was nice to come out of it and to feel so good right after that. And to know that, well, the work that we've done before brought us to where we are now, and the work we're doing now is going to take us to where we're going. So breathe easy. God brought us this far. I'm not going to dump us off here. If he did, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Deep fucking sigh. Brother, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I see you. I hear you. I love that the residue of today is evident.
Yeah.
Or whenever it happened, but it's evident. I was like, he never is like this. He's never like you're never just like, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like that in all the episodes we've ever done. I'm like,
yeah,
fuck you. I don't know. Yeah, what the fuck's he going through? And it was so beautiful to hear that you're just dealing with something so internal that it's also okay to give, like, it's also okay to see this side of you.
Yeah.
Like, it's so amazing. It's like not always like well-spoken Colt and having a like very thoughtful and like having the right answer Colt. It's like, no, this is still him. This is that same motherfucker. Like that's him. And I love seeing it. And then the cherry on top was this moment of what Ange talked about. Really, the way you dropped in just now. If anyone who's watching, dropping in and acting is a term when you're like really in a character, really in the scene, but you dropped into this moment about this thing that happened with the truck. But as I'm watching you, I'm like, yo, I feel every piece of this for all my own personal reasons, right? There's the masculine, I gotta provide, I want to be a provider. There's the fear and ego of like, I'm broke again, I don't want to be broke again, I know what broke feels like. There is like the part of you that feels disrespected, like, motherfucker, I paid you a lot of money, run that shit, give me my card, let me run that shit right now. It says it's approved. No, fix it, it's approved. I'm telling you it's approved because I paid it, not because of whatever your system says. It's approved because I paid.
Yeah,
that's why it's approved.
I did my
Period.
part.
I did my part.
Why can't you do your part?
That's exactly. I love this. I love this. I
just
love this Colt. He's like gangster, but not gangster. Like, I'm not gonna pull a gun. I'm not gonna pull a gun on you, gangster. This is Training Day, Denzel. This is Training Day Colt, by the way. This is Training Day Colt. I love this.
You spoke to this in the first part of the episode, and I apologize, you guys, for kind of taking up extra time on my end.
This is fantastic.
But what I loved is that what you talked about early on. This is one of the hardest parts for me because I worked real hard to get this boy under control. It took me a lot of time to get Rowdy to go back in the cage, to put him back away and go, hey, you don't belong here anymore. And it took me a second. I forget where I was on the set of This Close, and I was talking to one of the EPs. Her name's Mary Pat Bentel, and she is the absolute salt of the earth. She is a beautiful mentor and friend to me and to our family. But I was telling her about something that had happened when I was a kid. Or not a kid, but like a teenager, 20 years old. And she was like, that is crazy. You would never I can't even see you doing that. And I've had that experience so many times, which I'm very thankful for. But also, I forget how much I've changed, which is why I was speaking to that with two things earlier. One, of me giving the addendum to what you said, Brandon, but also I worked so hard to put Rowdy back in the cage that I forgot when it came time, I don't have to pretend. I don't have to pretend what it's like to be that angry or know what violence is or know what it feels like to have violence done to you or to do violence to people. I don't have to pretend. I just have to let Rowdy out a little bit. And it's a hard thing though, because you work so hard to cage that as a human being and to feel like I'm a good person. I'm a good person. I don't feel like that anymore. And then when you do feel like that, there's a time and a place for it.
Yep.
I will say there is a time and a place for the dangerous man. As a rule. There's a necessity.
Perfectly put. Perfectly put. Jon Gorski, baby.
Well, first, Colt, thanks for sharing in the way you just did. That's what I think what we want in these calls is like the vulnerability, the honesty, the rawness of what is really coming up. Because I think that is what a lot of us didn't grow up seeing. We didn't grow up seeing how to express these things. We didn't express, like, for me, it's the shadow, I would say, is really trusting myself. This is like, I've been, a lot of challenges have come up being like, slipping into old habits because that was comfortable and that's what I knew. But those old habits, not necessarily that they were bad, but bad outcomes would tend to happen. And it was just like, it wasn't necessary. And now I'm being put into a place where it's just like, I just really, and like, I asked myself on Sunday night, I'm like, okay, what's my intention for this week that I really want to focus on? And what have I been avoiding that I get to now bring to the light and focus on? And it's been like not fully trusting myself. Now I could do it and I could figure this out. And I think part of this is like then going in yesterday to the office and finding out person's leaving and now how this is a bigger challenge than I thought it was. And I'm just learning. It's like, yeah, I'm going to figure this out. And I think like future Jon is going to be very grateful that right now, present Jon is accepting what is and going to make the most of whatever comes. It's not about like, it needs to be perfect or I need to succeed or I need it to be a certain way. It's like, no, present Jon is going to make the best decisions present Jon is able to make with the knowledge that I have, the information that I have, the resources that I have. I'm going to do the best I can in this moment, and I'm going to be happy with myself for whatever outcome happens. And so that's been like the big piece for me, because honestly, it's like kind of cool. Like there's a lot of what you said I can relate, and just so much landed of just like putting past self away. This part of my past self being like, yo, this past self made a lot of mistakes and I don't want this past self to show up. And I was actually talking to a friend over the weekend about like, yo, why did certain things like still show up from our past when we know we don't want it? Like we're forcing it down. And it's like, you're forcing something down and just because you haven't fully accepted what it is. And until you accept, you're going to have bad days. You're going to accept that, like, you're going to have moments where you're not going to believe in yourself. There's going to be moments where you're going to doubt yourself, and that's fucking life. And yet you still keep moving forward. If you have to pretend that you believe in yourself, pretend that you believe in yourself. The last thing you should ever do is doubt yourself to the detriment of you. And then putting other people's opinions, because I used to like hit up 15 different friends and be like, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And then get to where I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do, because 15 different people gave me different thoughts. And then at the end of the day, the one person I'm not listening to is myself.
Gorski, if you don't, boy, hey, wait a minute.
I mean, I'm just gonna turn it off.
God,
It's ridiculous.
God, it's like smoking. Like my phone has smoke coming from it. From
I just feel like it's so many episodes worth of
but he just like dumped it on one, and I don't know why. It's just like, and tonight, and I'm just sitting there like,
this episode is gonna be Gorski.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. No explanation. Just push play. Just push play. See what's gonna happen to you. Just push play.
No, I appreciate that. But honestly, like I'm in a place now with conversations I've had with both of you guys. How many times, like the first season, I didn't watch the majority of the episodes for weeks because I didn't want to see myself, because I didn't trust what I was saying.
This man,
and like
right
now,
here.
like I'm telling you, like yesterday, it took me a couple of days, a couple of personal things came up, so I didn't get to watch last week's episode right away as I wanted to. But man, like watching these episodes, hearing all what you guys had to say, and it was so funny because like I love watching both of you share your thoughts, and I'm like, in most episodes, I'm like, cool, I'm gonna share their stuff, because I'm like, mine wasn't that strong. And it's not that I don't necessarily believe in what I'm saying. It's just like I never gave myself the attention because I didn't link myself to being like, hey, trust yourself. What you're saying is actually valuable. And watching this past week's episode, I was like, wow, all three of us contribute such good stuff. And then thinking about past episodes, I'm like, no, all of us have been doing this the whole time. You've just been ignoring yourself, thinking you're not the same place. Now I'm like sitting here, I'm like, yo, whatever, let's do it. Let's just keep having fun. Let's keep creating. I'm at that place where I'm letting go of all the judgment and the how it's supposed to look kind of mentality, and just trusting myself that I'm going to figure it out. And that's all that matters.
Yeah, fuck.
All right, Brandon, follow that. I mean, like,
I'm motivated by tacos. I think that's what
tacos. Oh my god.
Oh man, I honestly don't even want to try to follow that, because I want to leave it in the place and the space that it's in. Jon, that type of vulnerability was so beautiful, man, from both of you tonight. Just like such incredible vulnerability. I think my biggest dream and thing that I want in life, right, is a loving relationship and a partner, right? And what I see, my block, that is a consistent theme for my dad and my mom, is I feel abandoned. And I'm so good at justifying someone's actions because I'm trying to be compassionate that I almost say to myself, well, I get why my dad did what, and my dad did this, and my dad did that, so I can forgive him. If I can forgive him, then I'm growing in love, all being and all these different things. Cool. All that shit tucked away. Mom leaving, not really ever having like a solid example of like a healthy relationship, all these different things in my life, but she's got 6 kids. She did a really good job of raising me. She made sure I had manners. She made sure that I knew how to like treat women, like always had food on the table, always had clothes on our backs. Water gets cut off, lights get cut off, don't matter. She's always holding us down, X, Y, and Z. Nah, there's no room for like anything else but. And then the kid says, but you feel left. So then when I go to be in a romantic relationship, I feel that I know that I have this idea of like, please don't go. Like, please don't go. But the please don't go makes them go because now it's coming out in weird ways. I'm like, I'm fucking cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm hot. Women want me. Dance and shit. Fucking talented. Fucking leave me. You're not gonna leave me. It's all bravado, all persona, all everything. And what I don't see is that they can see the thing that I don't think they can see. They can see it. Because the boy in me, the kid in me, the guy it's never died, it's like, can you just stay? I don't need you. You don't have to do nothing. We ain't got to talk. Can you just stay? Can you just let me know that I'm lovable enough that you won't leave? And facing this part of me is the key to the dream. That's the key to the dream. That's how present Brandon has dealt with past Brandon in order for future Brandon to take that key, to put it into that lock, to turn that knob gently, to open that door to a life that he didn't even know he could have. He didn't believe, didn't accept that he could have it. So that's what present Brandon can do, is to work on that, to work on the leaving. And the way you do that is by loving, not leaving myself, not abandoning myself, not letting go of myself in anything. People will come, people will go, but I and me and God will always be together. We'll always have each other. So that's my 3 Brandons.